and I'm 82.4. So that's 8.4 kilograms down in 28 days. And I start today like I have every other day since I started this prep. Wake up, have no breakfast, have a cup of coffee, and then get started with my day. That's been a really productive part, actually. I have coffee and I start my emails and things. I'm not kind of watching YouTube whilst eating or whatever else. So it's been, that's been one of the biggest things. But that basically leads me into what this last vlog of the cutting season is going to be about. If you haven't already checked out some of the videos, I'll link one of them in either this corner here, and you can go and check them out. But in this vlog, I want to go over the reasons why I think this has been a game-changing strategy for fat loss for some people, not for everyone, but certainly for me. It has changed my ideas on a number of aspects of fat loss and how it should be implemented and how it can be effective. I'm going to share with you those thoughts today. I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, today we're going to go over the game-changing aspects of this. And I hope you enjoy the vlog. I was rushing around quite a bit to get into London, so I didn't manage to film any more in the house. But I have arrived at Origin Coffee Roasters. In my, I got this for Christmas. This is a Frank Green sort of keep a cup thing. But this is really good coffee here. Very, very good coffee. I am going to get my hair cut today now at Ruffian's, which is like a barber place. I might take the camera in and I'll show you. You can meet Tommy. Sorry for the noise. And then we'll get to the gym and we'll go over those aspects that I have been talking about with this idea of extreme fat loss and how we're going to go over things and the benefits that I've seen from it and why it's probably something you should try. Yeah, and then you do that. And you can say, Tommy can say hello to the vlog if he wants. That is haircut done. I didn't really introduce Tommy as much. I don't know how much he wants this big old camera in his face necessarily. But I managed to get my haircut done nicely for the kilt fitting this weekend and obviously date night tonight. I want to look nice and fresh for that. But now I'm going to go and weigh in the machine through there, which I'll take you through and I'll show you it. But it's essentially the body fat scanner thing that I've been using to chart some changes in muscle and body fat. Now, this thing isn't ridiculously accurate, this thing here. It kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what the body fat percentage is. But it's kind of been my measure, it's given me something other than the scales, and it's kind of done its job. It's done all right, but right, I'm going to step on and see what it says. It better be bloody good. So the results are in. I started off at 89.8 on that machine. So I was a little bit down from my first weigh-in, which was 90.8 on my scales at home. So weight's kind of, it should go down over these sort of weeks, but it's gone down really well. So 89.8 I started. I was 16.8% body fat on there, and I contained 43.2 kilograms of muscle mass. Now, progressed to it previously, and then I've ended up, my results I'm really happy with. It's kind of motivating. It's super motivating, and you know, I finished off at 82.7 kilograms on that machine, so down 7.1 kilograms in total. Body fat percentage was 12%, so I'm down 4.8% in terms of body fat percentage on that machine. And muscle mass was 42.2 kilograms in total. My hydration status has dropped a little bit, so that might contribute to that, but it says I've dropped a kilo in muscle mass, lost 4.8% in total body fat percentage, and lost 7.1 kilograms in total. Now, sure, 1 kilogram of muscle mass, you know, this machine's not necessarily going to be that accurate for that, but it gives me an idea that I've roughly stayed the same. I haven't really moved that much, so overall, very happy, very, very happy with how things have gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah.
Stings the nostrils. In a good way.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you, that smells like pure gasoline.
60% of the time, it works. Every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Right, you are probably interested in this aspect because this is my last day of this diet, if you will, and how it's potentially game changed the way in which I probably approach many other diets that I'm going to go about going forwards. Now, I entered into this the idea that sustainability was important, that a small deficit is going to help maintain muscle mass, and I've kind of ruined everything about that for myself. How am I going to change this, and how is this potentially going to change the way that I approach dieting for myself and people who are probably equipped to be able to do this? And I've talked about this in other vlogs and whatnot during the series. The first part is to do a 21-day heavy deficit of calories. So you're looking at that 40% worth with a high amount of protein intake, so around 180 to 190 grams. And blast it, like go as hard as you can. This is going to help because if you're at a higher body fat percentage, if you are committed and motivated and ready to train and whatnot, and you've got more energy reserves within your body, you're less likely to find the psychological and physiological aspects of dieting that's hard, but you'll get a massive result in terms of the amount of weight that you potentially lose. I'd then opt for a possibility of about 8 weeks where I'd reduce the deficit to about 10%. So it's still in a deficit and there's still the aim to lose body fat or certainly weight, but fundamentally over those 8 weeks, you're in a less of a deficit, you eat more calories than you are at the moment, and that means you're probably going to preserve muscle mass, preserve performance in the gym, reduce the side effects of the psychological aspects that you were suffering a little bit from the extreme approach. And that would take you to roughly about 11 to 12 weeks from a diet. And then if you were to add on an extra 4 weeks to a 16-week diet, roughly 4 months, you'd then consider going between 10 and 40% in terms of the deficit, depending on how much you've maybe lost in terms of your total body weight, or hit your target, or hit the body fat percentage you're keen on. And I think that would mean you make the dieting process much easier for yourself. You have that really focused 3 to 4 weeks, 21 days, probably about as long as I want it to be. Then you have the 8 weeks of focused dieting where you've got more calories and you're suffering less. And then you have that little squirt at the end where you're trying to push things a little bit harder and try and drop weight and body fat a little bit more. How would I potentially put this into a bulking phase? You're trying to gain muscle mass. So we know that the fatter you get, the less insulin sensitive you are, which may mean that you might not gain as much muscle mass over a period of time. That's up for debate. You could probably push it a little bit higher than 15, 18%, but probably keeping it below 20%. So what I suggest is you do a main bulking or gaining phase where you're trying to gain muscle mass for roughly 6 months. And then use this as a short period of 3 weeks or 21 days to cut the excess body fat that you've potentially gained. And that's going to help you reserve your muscle mass. It's going to bring back the body fat percentage to a manageable level and also help your insulin sensitivity and things in your ability to build muscle tissue. So yeah, quite easy. 6 months, diet for 3, 6 months, diet for 3, 6 months, diet for 3. 3 weeks, that is, not 3 months. And I think the last part of this is that you should probably never enter this until you are committed. You have to be committed to this process of 3 weeks and tracking your calories, making sure you're hitting your protein goals, understanding that this is a short-term thing. It's not necessarily going to be forever. If you are committed and you have that underpinning of those good habits, the success is going to be there. You're going to lose body fat and it'll probably stay off for a reasonable amount of time, because I am now very motivated in the fact that I've managed to drop body fat in a very short period of time, and I'm now going back into some sort of maintenance phase. Last one, when you're setting targets for this diet, I was a little bit skeptical of whether or not I'd get below 85 kilograms. I thought that was, not unreasonable. That was within 5% of my total body weight, and within 3 or 4 weeks, I thought that was going to be attainable. But I think I could stretch that, and I think you should target anywhere between 5% of your total body weight and 10% of your total body weight. So if you, like me, started at 90 kilograms, 5% would be roughly 4.5 kilograms, or it might be upwards of 9 kilograms. And I've kind of sat at about 8 to 9% within those sort of 4 weeks that I've been dieting for this. And that should help. Giving you that target of time and weight will certainly stick within those SMART goals of specific, measurable, attainable, results-driven, and the time frame. Hopefully that's been helpful. I'm now going to go out for dinner, enjoy some dinner with Laura, have a few beers, and I'll vlog a little bit with the phone rather than necessarily the big camera, and enjoy ourselves. But I hope you've enjoyed this series. If you have, give it that thumbs up, give it a likes, hit some comments if you have any questions about this series and anything about that, and then I will give you details of when I'll be releasing the book for this series. So yeah. See you soon.